Assalamu alaikum. It's 1:07 in the morning, and I decided that I'm going to share some of my lessons that I learned in 2025 as a Muslim student in university living in a Western world. So inshallah, let's go. So one of the first lessons that I learned as a young Muslim in university is gratefulness. Now, gratefulness is not just the general idea of being thankful when things are going well. True gratefulness is practiced in both moments of happiness and in moments of difficulty. It means choosing gratitude not only when life unfolds the way you hoped, but also when things go in the complete opposite direction of what you expected. This mindset is connected to Qadr, the belief in destiny and in what Allah has already written for us. Many times we don't receive what we really want or a goal that we wanted to get, because Allah is protecting us from something or preparing us for something even better. Recognizing this shifts the way we view disappointment. So instead of seeing it as a loss, we begin to see it as something divine. It's a divine protection. It's a divine wisdom from Allah. A really good example that I could use for many of us who are students is, for me at least, is when there was a test I studied really hard, extremely hard for, and I put in the effort for it. I made du'a, I prayed, and yet the grade I received, it was lower than what I hoped for. And in that moment I reminded myself that perhaps Allah decreed this outcome to protect me from arrogance or from falling into this sin, or from falling into a sin through pride had I achieved a higher mark. It's important to say alhamdulillah, right, which is connected to gratefulness regardless of the outcome. And I know it's easier said than done, but when alhamdulillah truly comes from the heart, something shifts. You look up, you take a deep breath, and it feels as though some type of weight has been lifted off from your shoulder. Gratitude, it humbles you, it brings relief, and it shows Allah that you are patient and you are content with His plan. Now, the second biggest lesson that I learned as a student in university is comparison. And this is something I'm still learning, that I'm still dealing with. But these past few months, I learned quite a lot about comparison. Healthy comparison and unhealthy comparison. One thing you need to understand is that comparison can be a destroyer of true happiness. But healthy comparison can place you in a better position in society. So we have healthy comparison and you have unhealthy comparison. You need to know the line to differentiate yourself from making and feeling true healthy comparison and an unhealthy comparison. You can also turn the feelings and attitudes of unhealthy comparison into an advantage for yourself. So let me give you another example from my life. Many times in university, people are going to get better marks than you, right? People around you are going to be getting jobs, people are going to be getting internships, and then all of a sudden there's you, there's me, like I'm barely surviving with barely any acceptances or jobs. The first thing you need to remember is that everybody gets their success from Allah. The first thing you need to remember is that everybody's success is through Allah. And when Allah wants to give you something, it will come at that certain time. Even if it takes a long time, remember that patience is a form of ibadah, and Allah's timing is the best. He knows that if you were to get a job at the time you wanted, it may not be of your best benefit, right? So that person, they got whatever they wanted because that's what was destined for them. That's what Allah wrote for them. And if that's what was written, then He will definitely get it, and you can't change anything about it. right? Because Allah has written that, it's in the books, you can't change anything about that. And this kind of brings us into a hadith narrated by Anas, where he says that none of you truly believes until he wishes for his brother what he wishes for himself. Now, when we take this statement, it kind of removes us from this toxic thinking where you deserve everything. Deep down in our hearts, we really want something. We definitely want that thing. But if we use this saying and relieve our hearts with this saying, we put our trust into Allah and say, Ya Allah, this is something I truly want, but it is something my friend or this other person also wants as well. Give us both this blessing. And then you keep that intention and say, Ya Allah, I'm doing this with the intention of only wanting what's best for my brother, so that you may bless us both. Now, I do want to talk about good comparison. There are times where comparison can benefit only if you use it correctly, while avoiding unhealthy comparison. Good comparison can give you opportunities. It can improve you from the current position you are in and place you in a better position. You need to know when to draw the line. So how can I draw this line? How do you draw this line? Well, this is something that I am still figuring out, but here's what I learned so far this past year. When it comes to healthy comparison, the line is drawn when you start overthinking, when you start over comparing, when you deeply internalize those comparisons. Once they reach a very bad emotional or mental level and they begin to create negative feeling towards that other person, that's when it becomes unhealthy. You want to stop. You want to stop reaching that emotional stage. There is a difference between good jealousy and bad jealousy, and the moment you start feeling bad jealousy, that's your sign to stop. That's the line. Matter of fact, even before, right before you feel that, and as soon as you catch yourself going down through that path, you're gonna take a step back and say alhamdulillah and intentionally end that comparison. So comparison should only exist in a way that helps you gain perspective, sometimes to understand where you stand, kind of your position in society. You don't need comparison to define your worth or measure your growth in a way, because everybody grows at a different pace. But when you use it properly, it can still be useful. It can offer motivation, a small boost, or a gentle push forward in life. So let me use another example. Maybe you're not volunteering or you're not working, and then you see people around you who are. That comparison can be healthy in a way, because you might think, hey, that's a good idea. Maybe if I volunteer more, I could open myself up to more opportunities or jobs. Another important point that I want to draw to is that when jealousy shows up, you have a choice. You can either let it consume you, or you can flip it. The people who are succeeding around you, you should not become a source of envy, but a source of learning. Jealousy is not going to get you anywhere, trust me. It only leads to mental exhaustion, and it's going to turn your life into a constant competition, which you do not want. Instead, you use these people who are around you, who are succeeding, in a healthy way. And I don't mean using them in a negative sense. I mean learning from them. Build genuine friendships, not just for personal gain, but to understand their journey and grow alongside with them. These people can become connection, mentors, or simply sources of inspiration. And these connections, these relationships can go long into your life. So you definitely don't need to envy anybody, but you can learn from anyone. You could share skills, you could help each other, and create a mutually beneficial relationship where both of you grow. This is where the difference between healthy and unhealthy comparison becomes clear. The moment comparison turns into jealousy, competition, or emotional spiraling, that's when you draw the line. That's when you step back and flip jealousy on its head. For example, if somebody comes to you and they say they got a better grade on a test, instead of envying them, go ask them, you did really well, mashallah. How did you study? What methods work for you? Become friends with people who are doing well. Most people are not trying to gatekeep knowledge, and may Allah protect us from becoming those who do. If someone comes to you for advice, the lesson is for you too. So now I'm talking about individuals where people come to you for advice. You should want the best for your brother or sister, because with that intention, Allah will give you even more. So share knowledge, give advice, and don't gatekeep. That's how real growth happens. So the other thing I wanted to talk about is friendship. So I am currently in my second year of university, and I learned so much about friendship, especially from last semester. And I truly learned about what friendship really means. I learned the beauty of having friendships that are grounded in Islam, friendships that are built on truthfulness, accountability, and sincere care for each other. Having a small, close Muslim friend circle like that is honestly one of the most beautiful experiences you can have. In these kinds of friendship, one important rule we live by, my group we live by, is that feelings don't necessarily always come first. If one of us is doing something wrong, is doing a sin, about to do a sin or something haram, and we genuinely believe it's not correct according to Islam or even just common sense, we all correct each other. We call each other out, obviously in a private sense in that group, and we do it within that small circle with respect and with care. That's how we hold each other accountable, and that accountability is a way of love. It's a way of our true friendship. Now, as friends, we deeply value salah. Our entire day is literally structured around prayer. You need friends who will stop you and say, okay, it's time to go pray. And alhamdulillah, all of us do that for one another. We constantly remind each other, and I've found myself at times where I would have a friend who's on the complete other side of campus, and he calls me up on my phone and he's like, oh, let's go pray. And I'm on the complete other side of the campus, and just the act of calling me to go pray is another factor that shows true friendship. These are the friends who are going to pull you closer to Allah. These are the friends who, by Allah's permission, by Allah's mercy, will help you enter Jannah. So search for those friends like that. And this wasn't really a lesson I learned, but it was more of a blessing, and I keep saying alhamdulillah over and over again for this blessing of having friends who are deeply rooted in Islam, who teach each other about Islam, and who hold each other accountable and remind each other of as-salah. Having close Muslim friends like this is truly a gift, and what's beautiful is that it doesn't only impact us, it actually impacts people around you. As a friend group, you kind of have like this aura around you, this Islamic aura. The fourth lesson that I learned in 2025, especially through my transition from first year to second year of university, is do not be afraid to ask questions, even if you think they are dumb. I'll give you another example. In anatomy class, we were in a lab and we were looking at specimens, we were looking at bones, muscles, insertions, innervations, all of that. I had no idea what was going on. I was completely lost, and I thought to myself, what am I doing? My mark matters. This actually matters. Why am I not answering questions? I need to let go of my pride. So then I started asking questions. Ask away, because at the end of the day, you are the one benefiting. Your understanding becomes clear, your knowledge improves, and not only that, somebody else in the room might also improve as well. They might benefit from that knowledge as well. Forget about what others are thinking. If somebody thinks you're dumb for asking a question, that has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with you. That's their ego, not your problem. Leave those people aside. It's only you who is benefiting. In my first year, I had this sort of ego which held me back, and I was scared to ask questions. Even in our deen, asking questions has always been a part of learning. The Sahaba asked questions, situations happen, questions were asked. Asking questions is not a weakness, it's a pathway to knowledge. It gives you knowledge. So practice asking questions. It's only going to benefit you and those around you who might be just as confused. It clears your mind, it builds confidence, and honestly, nothing else matters more than that. What's funny is that the people I asked questions to, whether they were professors, were actually happy. That's their role. That's what they were paid for. Use them. They have knowledge, and Allah has given you a tongue. He's given you a mouth. He's given you lips. Use those blessings and speak up. Lastly, there are so many lessons that I could talk about, but I want to end with one that ties everything together. It ties everything that we've discussed, and it should have been on the top, but it also is a good way to the video, and that's niyyah, intention. I saved this for the last because it applies to every single topic, whether it's friendships, whether it's asking questions, always start with an intention. When you ask questions, pause for a moment and say in your heart, Ya Allah, I'm asking these questions to gain knowledge, and through that knowledge I want to contribute positively, support my family in the future, and serve others in a halal way. Whatever you're doing, anchor it with that purpose. And something I'm still working on myself is remembering to make intention in the first place. Even while recording this video right over here, I realized that I forgot to make niyyah. I forgot to make an intention. And that's okay, we all make mistakes. If you forget, just renew that intention. Even if you're halfway through a project, stop, step back, make du'a, and renew your intention. Allah places immense barakah in actions that are done sincerely for Him. When you recognize that nothing works without Allah, everything changes. You won't succeed without Him. You won't reach your goals without Him. Nothing is complete without Him. This leads to that final point. Surrender yourself to Allah. Humble yourself down completely. Let go of the pride and the idea that you're the one making things happen, because that's not true. Every source of success, every type of success you get, every good grade, every opportunity is only from Allah and only from His mercy. When something goes in the right way, say, Ya Allah, this was only possible because of You. Detach yourself from that arrogance and internalize that Allah is in complete control. So I hope this video was able to help you guys out. It was just a little bit of advice that I could give you, but take it with a grain of salt. Make sure you start things with intention and always remember Allah, whatever you're doing. And yeah, Assalamu alaikum.